All right, class is back in session. I was able to do 2 chapters today of the Atomic Attraction book by Christopher Canwell. You can get that on audiobooks or Amazon. But a great book. I'm just doing the synopsis of the chapters so that you can have a step-by-step guide on how to become more attractive and get this chick right here. But there's no excuse if you don't know how to be an attractive alpha bang type guy. We're not no beta male stuff here, no beta male provider stuff, no money status game here. Okay. All right. So chapter 5. Check it out. You guys are gonna like this chapter. Is penis size important? Yep, I said it. Chapter 5 is penis size important. Well, you're gonna know by the end of this chapter. Women don't suffer from penis envy. Men do. Joseph Heller. Yep. All right. There is not a man alive that has not worried if his penis was not big enough or virile enough to satisfy a woman. Correct. We've all wondered about it at some point or another. No big deal. But you can't fixate on that. You gotta know you're fine. You are fine, more than likely. All right. Penis size is a major source of concern for men. Correct. But, and I'll just give you a spoiler alert, 95% of men are about an average size penis or D. Everybody is about average, whether they're going to lie about it or not, guys. So, there's only those, you watch too much corn or stuff like that, or hear men, lie, but anyway, men worry that the penis is not the right size or the right shape, or they worry that it doesn't have what it takes to bring a woman to orgasm, which, okay, let's go over that real quick. Just my interpretation. It's not going to be, first of all, let's go back to, women say, does size matter? Well, first of all, we'll answer that with yes, it does. But then we'll go on from there. Well, since size matters, should you worry? No, because most everybody is about average size. Okay, they've done studies. I'll go further in here. And does size matter? But yeah, you have to have enough of a D to touch certain areas. You have to, but more than likely, you got an average size D, And secondly, if she's with you for a long time, she's been with she probably don't care. Number 2 is orgasm happens in the mind, okay, for men and women. You can have, more for women, but, if she thinks you're alpha bang, if she thinks you got that swag without looking at your D, and she thinks that she's turned on by you, before she gets to your house, every time she talks to you, she gets wet. Every time when she's coming to see you, she's going to be wet as hell. She's going to be aroused like a mother. And so your D is not going to need to do much anyway. If your D's need to do a lot of work, you got problems, and because it's not usually how good you are, with your technique, it's usually how good you are in her mind as far as her arousal, okay? But anyway, we can go further into that later. The truth, let's see. The truth is, here we go. The truth is, this is from Atomic Attraction by Christopher Canwell. The truth is, the majority of penises, when measured, fall within a couple of centimeters of each other. Bingo bammo. All right. Published in the British Journal of Urology, 15,520 penises. They measured 15,521 penises around the world, including Africa, gentlemen. You don't think that they haven't perpetuated, black dudes haven't perpetuated BBC? Come on, y'all. But anyway, result. The average size, drum roll please, the average size is 5.2 inches in length. All right? The average circumference is 4.6 inches around. Men in the 25 percentile were 1 centimeter higher or 1 centimeter lower than the average penis. So basically that means So let's say you're smaller, you're smaller than the average, or you're bigger than the average. You're only a couple centimeters bigger, or you're only a couple centimeters smaller. So it's not this huge. There's only a couple of outlier, but that 5% of the world. That's that yeah. When you're talking about billions, but again, we're talking about percentage wise, right? So even if they say, oh, I'm bigger than average, it's not that. It's like a centimeter, a couple centimeters, right? Anyway, so don't worry about it. I'm telling you guys, especially young men, don't worry about it, and you insecure older men, don't worry about it. The thing is, here's real quick, and here's the more important thing, and is, and I'm doing this just, for the success of men. That's all, Oh, he's talking about dicks. He's gay. Come on, y'all. I mean, I want men to succeed, and I don't want men to be insecure. And when they go to satisfy a woman, I want them to know with confidence they're fine. And screw everybody else. Okay. Let's see. But yeah, I'll add this. If your diet's good, there's never just one thing. Life or human beings, we're not binary. It's a synergistic thing, and let me explain that. Meaning, you can't just, I'm going to have a healthy hair. I'm going to have a healthy D, penis or whatever. No, your whole body has to be healthy, so you got to get enough sleep. You got to be, exercising enough. You got to be eating right. You got to have sure, you're getting enough vitamins, which is take a multivitamin, So, and it's really easy to do. Take vitamin D. Usually you're going to need a vitamin D supplement. TRT, get on TRT. Make sure your mindset's good. Make sure your life's in balance, right? Because it's not about like a little bit of size, but how stiffy you can get it, how much blood flow you can get in there. Make sure you're doing your cardiovascular, all that stuff. Let's see. All right. So, and life's about consistency. Life's a marathon, not a sprint. So you got to do things consistently. Most people can do a diet for one day. Most people can go to the gym and exercise badass. I'm doing like a bodybuilder's diet for 1 week. I'm doing a bodybuilder's workout. It's like so hard. You do 100 reps here, 100 reps there, 1,000 squats here. Are you still doing that 2 weeks later? No, consistency beats, that short term, anybody can do something for a day. All right, let's keep going. Extremely large and small penises are only 5% of the participants. So only 5% of the participants in that big study were on the smaller side or larger side. Okay, and penis larger than so let's see. The participant had 5% of the participants had a penis larger than 6.3 inches. Only 5%. Okay. And less than 5% of men had a penis less than 3.6 inches. So more than likely, 95% chance you're not one of those. So 9.5 out of 10, you're not one of those. Okay? If you are, make sure you get in shape. Make sure you can, you overcompensate. What I always say, if you lack in one area, overcompensate in another. But the reason women say that size doesn't matter is because they're trying to be, that's their public face. But if you ask them in private, though, that matters, okay? They're not trying to be hoe looking, They're trying to, it's okay. They care a lot. Studies found that when women viewed digitally altered pictures of the same man with a different size penis, she did not rate the man with the big penis, or the small penis as most attractive. She rated the one with the average size penis the most attractive. Women like symmetry. Women like proportionality. Okay? The women rated, yes. Okay, got that. The most extensive penis size study in history revealed most penises are the same size, give or take a few centimeters. So again, the bottom line is you're more than likely fine. People worry too much about it, right? And we believe too much of the guys lie. There's a lot of guys that lie, or too many people base their viewpoints on some of the corn they watch, right? The one part that stands alone in the male anatomy that is not correlated with body mass index, foot size, hand size, and is only slightly correlated with height is the penis. Okay, so penis size, you can't tell the guy's jacked and he's in a bodybuilder. He could have a huge one or he could have a small one. Okay, hand size, you can't tell. You know, foot size, it's not an indication. Foot or hand size is not an indication. If you have big feet, doesn't, you know, that whole line, I got big shoes, doesn't matter. You can still have a small dick, you know. But it tends to be correlated, only slight correlation with height. Meaning, let's say you got a 6'5" guy. If I put a gun to your head and said, you know, who's got a bigger D, the 5'7" guy or the 6'5" guy? Well, if the gun's to your head, you better say 6'5" guy. But more than likely, there's a big chance you're wrong because it's only slightly correlated. Okay. If it was highly correlated, then you'd be like, oh yeah, it's definitely, don't shoot me, you know, I'll be alive, you know. Let's see, the outliers both big and, okay, so the outliers both big and small are very small, only 5%. The outliers are very few people, okay. Let's see, women have a preference for, they like I said, a D or a dick that is proportionately sized. Yes, okay. They like balance. Women like a guy that has balance. They don't like a guy with huge shoulders or huge arms, and tiny skinny legs. You know, that's like having a huge body and a little D. You know. All right, let's see. Let's finish it up here. Let's see. A penis size should not. Okay, so here's a main idea of this. Relative to a man's body, penis size should not be a factor in your life. And you know, especially in your journey to get women, have sex with them, and please them, because it shouldn't be. You know. And by the way, intercourse or fucking, that is usually only a small part of sex. Women like the foreplay, you know. So, you know, intercourse, and this is from experience, whatever, it usually doesn't produce orgasm. So, you know, all the other stuff prior to that will produce the orgasm, right? We like the intercourse, number one, it's got the, you know, and it's just, it's a mind thing, you know. There's a closeness anyway. But yes, it's not that. It's women tend to like the foreplay more. Okay, let's see. Nor should it prevent you from having great sex with a woman. Right, your penis size will not prevent you from having great sex with a woman. Men who constantly worry about the size of their penis and the ability to satisfy a woman are more likely to suffer from erectile dysfunction and experience insecure behavior. Yes, and women hate insecurity. That's weakness. What should we always project? Masculinity and strength. So being anxious about your D size, it'll come out in your behavior, and she'll know. Okay, so don't worry about it. That's what I want to get across to the young men, especially. 95% chance your penis is just as big or small as other men she has dated. Correct. Okay, and she'll never tell you. They're usually really nice. As long as she's having a good sex life, she doesn't care. That's it. So that's it on that chapter. Okay, so we put that to bed. Don't worry about your size. Don't worry about your performance. You know, just get to be attractive. You know, and you know, like I said, all the sex stuff especially happens outside. And if you have, it'll be more in your mind. If you're having this thought that you have insecurity around that area, it's going to come out in your other behavior. So number one, let's put that to bed right away. Yes, women, you know, size does matter, but more than likely you're already average size, as according to these studies and stuff. All right, so let's not worry about that. Let's move on to other things. Your workouts. Are you getting jacked? Are you getting, you know, can you get your D hard? You know, are you confident? Are you assertive? Are you dominant? We need those things, you know. And she won't care how big or small your D is. All right, we'll see you on the next one.